You really haven't been illuminated. But when you're illuminated, that's why I say you're going to be dipped in the fiery furnace of affliction. You're going to go through some tribulation. You're going to go through some affliction to see if you burn. Partly with, you were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches, disgraces, and afflictions, see? A gazing stock. Look how they look. I mean, especially if you go out and you wear your fringes and ribbon of blue, and, you know, that's one way we recognize each other. You know, that's one identifying way that, you know, you walk around, you see brothers, sisters that have their fringes, ribbon of blue. I've met people that I didn't know. They had their fringes, ribbon of blue on them from another church or whatever. And wow, we Israelites, we can relate, you know, shalom to each other, peace to each other, you know. And some people, you know, they laugh at us behind seeing the way we dress. You know, say we look like Power Rangers and so forth, you know, say whatever, but we're coming back to our culture. Like you see a brother with a suit on, with a bow tie, he's a Muslim. And you look at the Christian brothers, they got a certain look that they have, certain demeanor. With Israelites, we all got beards. You know, that's one thing about us. If you can grow a beard, we got beards. You know? It says, verse 33, partly when ye were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches, which is disgraces, and afflictions, and partly when ye became companions of them that were so used. So you become companions of we that's been in the truth for a while. We used to going through this. You become companions with those that are and have gone through the afflictions and the gazing stocks for a long time. So people realize, okay, well, pretty soon it become normal. What are they gonna say? Okay, they said you knew coming into the truth, so you put on your fringes and your ribbon of blue, and people are like, what is that all about? So they laugh at you, but then when they see you continually to be that way, and they get a chance to talk to you, and they realize, whoa, wow. You know, because they might laugh at you thinking, you know, that's something that's ignorant, but when you start talking to you and realize the knowledge and some understanding that you have that they don't have, now who's ignorant? Who's not knowing? Who is knowing? It's you. That's why I take pride in who you are, in your culture. And don't be ashamed, because you're not going to go through it. That don't fit you. You know, but we that have been through it and don't really care, are numb to these reproaches and afflictions, because it says you're going to go through it, then that makes you stronger and stronger and stronger in the faith to believe and see that the Most High's word is true, and nobody can deviate you from where it is that you're trying to reach. You're running that race to reach the end result, and that's the kingdom. Let nobody take you off your path. It says, for ye had compassion of me and my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance. You know, no matter what you lose, you know that we have better than what we can imagine this concrete jungle in heaven. Because the Most High can bring it forth. He make a poor man rich in a moment. Or he can make a rich man poor in a moment. Or he can just have you stay in the stability of your life to make it. He's the one that endures unto the end. We got to learn to endure to the end. He's going to be there. He's the beginning, the ending, he's everything. And he the one that can bring the blessings upon us if we do what he say do. We have in heaven a better and an enduring, forever and ever and ever substance. Say, cast not away therefore your confidence. Don't let your mind dwindle away from focusing on this truth, which have great recompense of reward. See, we have a great reward ahead of us, people, if you don't fall short and don't allow anybody to take you off your path to the kingdom. For ye have need of patience. See, got to patience. That deal with time. It might not be as in the time you want it, but it's going to be in time. It's going to be a period of time that it's going to come through. Just a matter of you suffering, going through whatever you got to go through, your afflictions, your tribulation, and know, because a lot of you have been through tribulation. I know I have. There were a lot of tribulation and afflictions and so forth. But in the end, I know the great days outnumber the bad days. And that's for sure. Remember those great days. You think on those things. And not on the afflictions. Therefore, you can see that those great days come again in your life. For ye have need of patience, verse 36, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, keeping His laws, statutes, commandments, having faith in Mashiach Yahushua, ye might receive the promise. You keep hearing might tonight. He ain't say you're going to receive the promise, because some people think all you got to do is you do this, that I know I'm going to do. No. He said you might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. A little while. Come on, it's been 2,000 years since this was written. A little while, but remember, a day to the Most High is 1,000 years, so it's been 2 days. We're in the third day now. You know, it's only been 2 days. Could you press *6 on your phone? Because I hear a lot of noise, background noise. Could everybody press *6 or else I have to mute the phone? Well, somebody moving around have a lot of noise. Listen, verse 35, it says, cast away therefore your confidence, which has great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise. See? You follow the will of the Most High, which is to keep His commandments, so you might receive the promise. Might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come. The Most High going to come with a Mashiach Yahushua, His holy angels. It will not tarry. It's not going to take long. Now the just shall live by faith. We got to believe wholeheartedly. But if any man draw back, a lot of people have drawn back. They backslid. They drawn back. My soul shall have no pleasure in him. See? You got to keep striving and striving and striving for the truth. Keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, and assembling yourselves together. Because before this, you know, he said, hey, you got to hear what he's saying. Verse 25, it says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is. See, some people think that they ain't got to come together. They're their own individual, dealing with individualism. They are an individualite. They're not an Israelite. They're individualite. You know, following their own way. We got to assemble ourselves together. Not forsaking the assembling ourselves together, as the manner of some is. Some people think they don't have to assemble together. But exhorting one another. How are you going to exhort someone when you're by yourself? You can't exhort one. I can't exhort you if I'm just all by myself. You can't exhort me if you're all by yourself. You can't exhort no one. Exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. If you don't see the day approaching, something wrong with you. If you don't see this place as Sodom and Gomorrah, and what the Most High did to those 5 cities, and what the Most High going to do, as it is written to America and a lot of these countries. So you don't know where to run, because what country is going to be safe? That the Most High say, you can run here, it's going to be guaranteed safe. The Most High ways and thoughts and our ways and thoughts. Who knows the mind of the Most High? People saying you got to flee America. Where I'm going to flee to, that you can guarantee me that I'm going to be safe. That it ain't going to be my time to go, or anybody else's time to go, that the Most High say He's pulling the spirit from the body, from these mortal bodies. That you can guarantee that you're going to be all right. That Most High gonna pull His Spirit from you, from wherever you go. Better think again, man. Going back to Hebrews 10, verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. You stop following this truth, you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing, not assembling yourselves. It says, go back to verse 25. He said this before he's saying all this. And he said, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the matter of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. You got to come together more as you see the day approaching. That's why it's beautiful that we do have these conference calls and being able to come together in the flesh. But some don't want to come together in the flesh. You want to be all by yourself. You're still an individualist. Some can't come together in the flesh because they are of different states. And they wish they could come together in the flesh with a congregation. As some of you have the ability to, but you don't. So you can be held accountable. And he said, what did he say next? For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. So Mashiach Yahushua ain't going to the Most High on your behalf. That's what it's saying. He not going to be going to the Most High on your behalf when you sin. So therefore your sins going to pile up and pile up and pile up. And it's being written in the books. When the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua comes to you, then you're going to stand before him. He's going to tell you all these things that you've done and not coming together as a nation, to gather ourselves together as a people. But a certain fearful, looking for a judgment and fiery indignation to burn people up, which shall devour the adversary, devour the enemies, because you're not doing what you say do. So you're the enemy of the Most High. Going back to verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, and you draw back, my soul have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition. See, we ain't of those that draw back into the world. Remember, the world, the Most High made the wicked for the day of evil. So when you draw back into the world, then you're part of them. It says, but we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul, saving of our spirits. Some spirits going to be thrown away. Hopefully it's not one of yours. But you got to go through it. You can go through it. Nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt. If you look at what the Most High said concerning the Mashiach Yahushua, and let you know nobody, this proves nobody's exempt. You look at Isaiah 53 and 10. Isaiah 53 and 10. It had pleased the Most High to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Most High shall prosper in his hand. See, he made a Mashiach Yahushua body, an offering for the sins of the children of Israel. But it pleased the Most High to do this, as it is written. So, who are we to think it won't please the Most High to afflict us? You're going to have to go through these afflictions. Every one of us. Nobody's exempt from that. No one. So prepare yourself. All you that think you untouchable. Most likely touch you no matter where you go. No matter where you think. Listen to what it says. 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. It said, be sober. Be sober. Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. See? And we know he's going to and fro in the earth. Because he walketh about to and fro in the earth, seeking whom he may devour. Whom resist steadfast in the faith. You see this? That's how you resist him in the faith. Knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. The same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Going through the same thing. Ain't nobody missing this. But the Most High power of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by our Mashiach Yahushua. That's why it told us in Hebrews 1 and 2. Hath in these last days spoken to us by his Son, Mashiach Yahushua, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. So he's speaking to us too, Mashiach Yahushua, in these last days. So when you see here, when it says in 1 Peter 5 and verse 10, but the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by a Mashiach Yahushua. That's the calling that the Most High is calling us into. And he allowed Mashiach Yahushua to do the choosing. After that ye have suffered a while. Read you again. After that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect. See? After ye have suffered a while, everyone suffered. Nobody had it easy in this. But see, Christianity tell you, just come and they look for the joy and the happiness and they might as well be singing the song by Al Green, love and happiness. You know, but you don't see that. You read this Bible, you don't see that. You don't see that. Because we didn't follow the Most High's rules and regulations. So how you gonna think you're gonna get love and happiness when you're not following what he say do? Explain that to me, if you will. Somebody explain that to me. You're not doing what he say do. And yet still, you're looking for all this love and happiness and joy. And you're doing whatever you want to do. Contrary to the word of the Most High. Better think again, people. This is serious as could be. A lot of woe, lamentations, crying, and sighing in these words of the Bible. Mostly everyone is put to death. Even as the Mashiach Yahushua himself. So here we all, let's continue. 1 Peter 5 and 10 again. But the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by our Mashiach Yahushua. After that ye have suffered a while. See? After that ye have suffered a while. Are you suffering? Have you suffered a while? Make you perfect. Establish. Strengthen. Settle you. That's why